some of the manual functions on the lathe when we're going to proceed to set up our tooling in the turret. I'm going to have to actually wear the chest piece for the next part. So I'm going to use my handheld mounting camera really to get in there and kind of look. So if you look here on our turret, you know, we have engraved spots for our tooling. So this one here in the front is 6, there's 7 and 8. One is on the back side, 2, 3, 4, 5, so and so forth. So kind of easy to get the camera in there and take a look at that. You can see that we have a few tools loaded already, but I'm going to take those out and I'm going to show you how to mount those back in. And then the other thing too is that when we're into our handle jog mode and we're jogging around to set up our part, we have to take a test cut on the phase to help set up our tooling in our work position, and then we have to cut down the diameter so we can measure that properly. So there's a few things that we have to do that I'm going to use the other mounting system for the camera for. But for right now, to be able to bring the camera up and show you the buttons, show you the screen, this handheld works a lot better. So shut the door. There is a safety switch on the door, and I'm not sure where it is, if it's that one down on the bottom there, or if there's a safety switch on top. I haven't been able to really see it yet, but there is a safety switch. So if you open the door, while it's in operation, it stops your program, stops the spindle, and then it'll give you an alarm and basically says, hey, you opened the door, you can't do that. It's kind of a pain to get out of that mode when you're in there, because it really doesn't like starting in the middle of the program. You can start at a tool change. You can, it's tough to start at your last cut. So yeah, so I would highly recommend that we leave the door closed while we are running our program. So, but in order to get the tooling out of there, I need to index my turret. So I can press this little middle button here. If I just hit the turret button, it's not going to do anything. And actually, I'm in edit mode. I need to be in handle mode as well to do that. And now in handle mode, it flashes on your graduations here. So this is 1/10, that's 1 thou, 10 thou, and 100 thou. Because I'm in English right now. We have this all set up as English. We're not in metric system at this point. But I usually recommend going to 10 thou. 10 thou, then we can go in on our Z. Here's our hand jog. There's your Z is selected, 10 thou, and then you can see that we can move it out and we can move it in. So just by using the hand jog, we're gonna hand jog it back and forth. So when we pull out the tools, I'm actually going to send it home in the Z direction, maybe even in the X, just so I have a little bit more room when the door is open. So that's jogging in the Z. Here's jogging in the X. We can go in on our diameter, we can come out on our diameter. So just using the hand jog, coming in and out. Very easily done. Handle, 10 thou, that's what I recommend there. When we're going to cut on our part, so let's say I've got my tools in the correct spot and I want to cut on the part, I want to start this spindle at the last RPM. If you just click on that, it doesn't activate. So what it does is, though, it gives you an operator message and it says hold spindle for 1 second to operate or to activate the spindle. You know, it just gives you that message. You don't have to do anything with that alarm. You can hit reset to shut it off, but if we come back and we just hold it for a second, it starts up the spindle. So then we're good to go. And then spindle stop. It stops. 1/1000 starts. Also gives you an operator message that says spindle on. This message doesn't always stay up. Like if I needed to go to all of my views, there's all of my views. The operator message is still there and the message is still flashing, but it's not flashing red. It's just as an indicator that it's on. If I open the door, there you go. The main door is open during auto operation. There's your red alarm, and then it flashes red on the top as well. So we'll just hit that because we're not in auto, we're in handle, but it just doesn't like the door opening with the spindle turning, which is probably a good safety feature to have. I want to index my turret. I'm going to hold the middle button. I'm going to index it in the forward. It's going to 7, 8, there's 8, and then there's 1. So now I'm back to 1, so we have 8 positions. Now I'm back to tool 1. let's say I need to change out 1, 2, and 3. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to send it home. So reference position, and then this little middle button rapid, I can hold that and I can hit the X and it homes it out. And then I can do it again for the rapid. I can hold the middle button and I can press it for the Z and it goes back and homes it out. And now I can work in this spot. I can grab our wrench, I can take out our tools, I can work on that area. Now you can see we've got some aluminum because we ran it. So what I'll do is I'll take a rig and a brush and I'll clean all that off because I don't want any of that in there to affect of my toolings, because when we put in our tool, we're going to put it back up against the turret. That's one of our stops, and then we hold it up against the turret the other way with our set screws. Well, they're not really set screws, they're clamp screws that will hold against the turret. So yeah, so your tool is back against the turret and up against the turret, and that's your stop for your tool. So those obviously have to be clean. So that's putting it home in referencing position. That's handle jogging. So when we go to handle, we always click our button. And so that's going to be those buttons and those usages for our hand jogs. I will show you in another video after I get the tooling set. So we're going to set up the tooling and then we'll set up our part, and I'll show you how to cut and how to do those things as well in another video.